Hey, HadesOmega here, and we are at the Hollister Hills Hare Ball. All right, it's November 12th, 2022. I'm all ready to race. I'm all suited up, and we're racing the gas bike this time because unfortunately the motor blew on the something happened to the motor on the Soron last time, so we can't race it this time. It's kind of sad because I feel like when I race that bike, I'm somebody special. Nobody else is racing a bike like that, right? So, and I'm just here with the KLX now, man. And everybody's got all these fancy bikes and stuff, but it's okay. We're gonna ride an Old Faithful. We'll see how it does. Let's see how HadesOmega can ride the gas bike still. I mean, I sure can on the racetrack still. So, hopefully we'll be all right out here. This is a fun course. It flows nicely. So I just want to come out here and have fun. I think this is my last race of the year. So, okay. So, all right, so I'm gonna go race, and then there'll be an AAR after, and you guys will know how I did. All right, hopefully it'll be okay. All right. Hopefully we'll finish, and I won't have any problems, and I won't get hurt. All right, that's the least. Yeah. All right, let's look out. All right, hey, HadesOmega here, and welcome to the after action review for Hollister Hills Off-Road Association Hare Ball 2022. All right. So I've got both of these bikes in the picture here, all right, but we raced the KLX today, all right. If you guys didn't watch it, I raced in the Coyote Creek Sprint Enduro, and I blew the motor on my Soron, all right. So I'm waiting to get a new motor. Well, I mean, right now I got the QS165 in it, but I didn't want to race it with that motor in there. I don't think it would have been up to snuff, man. So we raced with my KLX170, all right. So it's a KLX 140 with a 170 Borup kit and like a hotter cam and exhaust. It's full. It's kind of decked out. It's like stage 1 or stage 2 decked out. All right. Yeah, it's pretty fast. Okay. So I haven't raced this bike in that race for a minute. All right. Like 2 years or something. All right. We've just been racing the Soron all the time. All right. So, okay, after action review. It's supposed to be what was supposed to happen, what really happened, and things we could do to improve, right? That type of stuff, right? And then at the same time, we'll do a comparison between the KLX and the Soron, right? Since I've been racing the Soron in the dirt so much and not the KLX, all right? I have been racing the KLX in Supermoto, all right? But, yeah. And then yeah, we can talk about some stuff I want to do about this bike. All right, it's just this bike is just like Old Faithful. All right, it always runs. It's not super dupery fast, you know. It's not super dupery high tech, but it always runs. All right, it's broken far less than the Soron. Okay, the Soron's just breaking all the time. All right. In fact, for this race last year, the chain came off of my Soron, and we didn't finish that race. All right, so yeah, it was pretty bad. So I made sure I changed that chain for the next race for the next year. Okay, but we did race this in the Wild Wabbit earlier this year, and it did okay. All right, so with those kind of two, with the previous race fresh in my mind, and then we raced this one earlier this year, I can do some comparisons. All right, with how they both ride and do. That's what I want to say. Okay. Alright, well, what's supposed to happen? We're supposed to race Hare Ball 2022, alright? It was at Hollister Hills at the usual place. Yeah, and we did it, okay? So let me talk about the conditions. The conditions were excellent, man. It was great. It had been raining like all week, like the previous week, right? And then it just stopped raining for like this whole week, and it started drying up. But it was just hero dirt everywhere. Hero dirt everywhere. There was no dust at all. I didn't get dusted at all. All right, I got roosted a couple times, but that was it. Okay, the riding conditions were excellent. It was cold. It was really, really cold. All right, it was about 50 something degrees. All right, like 52 degrees or something. Yeah, really cold, but it's good to work up a sweat. I don't like racing when yeah, if you guys don't know, HadesOmega doesn't like racing when it's hot. All right, I've been racing when it's hot the whole year, man, and I absolutely hate it. All right, HadesOmega is a fair weather racer. All right, If it's like pouring rain, I'm not gonna race. All right, you would have to pay me to do that. Okay. If it's like super duper hot, but yeah. But this bike doesn't care if it's hot or cold, man. It runs no matter what. All right, unless you're at like a super high elevation. Okay. So what really happened? We raced and we finished. All right. So the race was 3 laps. All right. I don't know if anybody did 4 laps. I didn't look at all the results quite yet. All right. But there was some pretty fast people out there, and fast kids. That's what I want to say. Okay. So we raced in the C-5 class. I think that's 40 to like 49 years old. I just hit the C-5 class. All right, so I got to race in a new class. Yeah, I raced this one in the same class before too. So, okay, we were number 853. All right, and yeah, so the track started at the motocross track and it went up into the hills and stuff. All right, good stuff. So off we went, and I kind of took it slow for the first lap. I hadn't been riding this bike in a long time, and I've never ridden this bike in the dirt for a while. All right, I think the last time we rode it in the dirt, I think we rode it earlier this year. Yeah, so it's been almost like a year. I think we did okay. We were racing against a lot of Yamahas. This was there's some Yamahas and KTM's in that class, and yeah, so off we went. HadesOmega's not like he's trying. I always take it easy in the first lap. So because I don't really know what it's like, right? And the race is 1 hour, by the way, guys. Harescrambles are typically 1.5 hours, but this is the C class for this race is only 1 hour. All right, so easier. Okay, and yeah, so the course was great. There was a lot of whoops. There's still a lot of whoops. You could go around them. So here's my first comparison with the Light Bee. I feel that this bike goes over the whoops and it absorbs the bumps and the dips and everything way better than this. It's like marshmallows compared to that. And I've thrown a lot of money into the suspension in this bike, and it doesn't run like this one, man. All right. Of course, this one's a bit heavier than that bike. Okay. But yeah, it absorbs the bumps really well. One thing about this course is that like there's a lot of whoops and stuff and dips, but you can go around them. All right, they'll be like in the center of the trail. There'll be like a dip or something, or like a little hill or jump or something, and you could go around it. And it'll be smoother, right? I felt that. I didn't feel confident doing that with this bike. I could probably do it a little bit, and then it would just kind of not go where I want it to go. The Light Bee is like it's like a precision knife is what I'm gonna say. All right, where this one's like a meat cleaver. All right, the Light Bee is so much easier to put the wheel where you want it, or is what I'm gonna say. All right, this bike is just kind of all over the place a little bit. It's hard to put the front tire, or tires where you want it in general, right? But the suspension soaks up everything. So like I didn't feel so bad like when we weren't going around the whoops and stuff, right? And I noticed it was harder. It's harder than on this bike. All right, this bike has spoiled HadesOmega. So I'll say, all right, racing this year after year after year. Okay. Yeah, so we were pretty slow on the first lap. We got passed a whole lot, man. A lot of people passed us. At some point, like the C6 guys passed us. That was the older people behind us.
Holy shit! See, the C6 guys caught up to us.
Racing, and yeah, if somebody comes up behind me and I hear them, and they've already caught up to you, there's no point in trying to block them or try to race with them, but yeah, don't make it too easy. But if they're like breathing down your neck, just slow down a little bit and pull over and let them go. All right, and I had to do that like a lot. I just kind of felt bad. I kind of felt that that this bike was not very. This bike had a lot of power. It ran really good. All right, and like I said, it's upgraded KLX 140. The KLX 140, it's just with the 170 kit, it just rips. All right. But the thing I was afraid about this bike is that is whiskey throttling. All right. I was afraid like you know, you'd whiskey throttle on and it'll just throw you like down the trail or something. All right. And that happened a couple times. And then one time, I remember one time like I freaked out and I chopped the throttle closed, and the bike just like went down.
Oh! Ah! I whiskey throttled and I panicked and I shut it.
So another thing about this bike is that the front forks, they're I have this bike set up for Supermoto. All right, so the forks are lower in the front, and I installed the KX shock in the rear, so it made the back really tall, and the front is like lower now. So it would be a good idea to move these up like an inch, like where they're supposed to be, because the front fork is the wheel under compression, heavy compression, it's rubbing on the fork. Heavy compression, it's rubbing real bad. So yeah, it's just like and I don't know, for whatever reason the front tire was like sliding all over the place in certain sections.
Oh! Front tire sliding. Oh! Front sliding again. I'm not getting any traction on the front, man. These tires not doing so hot.
One thing I noticed is that I tend to rely on the front brake more. I'm not good at using the motorcycle front rear brake. All right, I've never have been. Okay, so I've become dependent on the regen throttle on the Light Bee. All right, because Light Bee's so much easier. You just dab that regen throttle, it just slides around the corner. Another thing was like the shifting. These vehicles kind of forgot how to shift, is what I'm gonna say. Yeah. So the good thing about this bike though is that it has a higher rev limit. All right, it's got a CDI with a higher rev limiter box on it, and it's got a hotter cam, so it's got a lot of power up top. So still, sort of, kind of. Okay, is what I'm gonna say. So I could rev it pretty high, like in a lower gear. You can kind of tell the bike doesn't like it so much, but you could do it, So if you wanted to keep it in the lower gear and just like really rev it, you could do that, okay? And that's what I kind of relied on sometimes, all right? Yeah. So what HadesOmega likes to do is when he goes down the hills, I use the engine braking. I downshift, all right? So that's kind of my regen throttle is the engine braking, okay? And it works pretty good, is what I'm gonna say. Yeah. And so one thing I did notice about riding this bike is that it doesn't beat me up as much. It doesn't beat me up as much as the Light Bee. That's what I like. The suspension soaks up the bumps and stuff much better than the Light Bee. I think this Light Bee is just too light. What am I gonna say? All right, there is that Ultra Bee coming out, and it does have motorcycle suspension on it, so it makes me wonder maybe it'll be more like this. All right, I kind of like the way this bike handles, but yeah, I don't like the throttle on this. I set this, like I said, I set this bike up for a Supermoto, so the throttle opens like super fast, just a little bit, and it'll take off, and I kind of don't like that. I kind of don't like that when I'm riding off-road, right? Even this bike I actually detune it when I ride it off-road, right? It's just too much power. I don't need that much power. I need more control. So I'm gonna say I don't need it to just have like a bunch of power once I blip the throttle. I don't need that. I would rather have like a smoother throttle, and this one just doesn't have it. Okay. And the throttle is stiff and it hurts my wrist. It didn't hurt it too bad this time. All right. Did I have any crashes? I had one crash. All right. There was this kind of it's a turn where like you go. It's like a kind of a switchback or a hairpin, and you're going down, and then there's just a bunch of rocks all over the place. All right. Some little bits on the trail, and some rocks and stuff. And man, then so I saw like there must have been like 4 or 5 dudes just hanging out there, and so I don't know. I guess I kind of freaked out, and I gave it front brake, and down the bike went.
Oh man! Oh shit! Dadgummit!
So I just picked the bike up, you know, and then I went on my way. So yeah, I dumped it pretty hard though. So, but no problem. Took it like a champ. Okay. Yeah. I didn't really like the motocross section. Yeah, the motocross section was just like, I don't know. There's like mud pits, and yeah, and then there was like some really soft dirt and stuff that like it really slowed the bike down a whole lot. It was just really hard to control this bike because of the shifting and stuff. Is all I want to say. It seems like you're always like, it seems like you're like in the wrong gear all the time. HadesOmega. Like I had to remind myself, shift up, Marlon, shift up. You gotta shift down. You gotta shift up, shift down. It's just constantly you're just shifting up, shifting down, shifting up, shifting down. It just seems like a lot of work, and I gotta think about it, you know. Where this bike, you're just always in the right gear, right? You just twist and go, right? I got a rear brake on the left, right? On the left handlebar if I want to use it, you know. So yeah, that's the way I felt. So the race was 18. It was just shy of 18 miles. They said the one lap is about 6 miles, and that's about right. It was I did just shy of 18 miles. So could the Light Bee have completed that? Because in the last race I raced the Light Bee in, we barely finished it. Right? I think we did like 21 miles. We did 21 miles on the Light Bee, and it almost ran out of power when we got to the finish line. Like when we got up to the motocross track for the last time, the bike ran out of power. Okay, and I was like, oh, you better be careful. Just take it easy until you get to the finish line. So that's what we wound up doing. All right. This bike, don't have to worry about that, man. This thing sips fuel, man. This thing is so fuel efficient, is what I'm gonna say. I know I filled up the tank most of the way. I knew I was gonna run out of gas on this bike. It's not even that long with Harescramble. So that's a nice. Oh man, my fender. I destroyed my fender, man. The back part of my fender got all messed up. I don't know how that happened. I guess I'll have to cut those parts off my fender. So the bike did take a little bit of damage to the front fender. I installed this fender pretty recently. Alright, I'm not a really big fan of it. Alright, it's really floppy like that, but it looks nice, I guess. Okay?
Yeah, we're getting past big time. We're doing horrible.
Yeah, I had like little kids passing me and girls passing me. I was like, oh, you're gonna let those girls pass you like that, Marlon?
Oh shit! A girl passed me.
But the course was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was like a lot of the sections were like motocross riding sections. All right, they're kind of flowy and stuff. It flowed really nicely. There was I remember there's like a single track section where I got stuck behind a bunch of riders, and you just can't pass on the single track, so you just kind of have to wait until everybody can.
All right, a bunch of slow riders. Just relax. Can't pass. So annoying.
So, I mean, a lot of people passed me, but I passed a lot of people too. Okay, so maybe we'll look at the overall scores, all right, to see how HadesOmega did. I always like to do that and compare myself to other classes and stuff. So we'll do that at the very end of the video. So the results, I looked at the results before I left. I came in 10th place in my class. All right, like about the middle of the pack. That's what I'm gonna say. All right, bike ran great, no problems at all. I felt that I could ride this bike harder, you know, but I just wasn't, you know. I've been sick for like almost like 2 weeks now, and I hadn't been riding at all, and then we just went to this race. So think this is gonna be the last one of the year. But yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Like I said, the course flowed really nice. There was some racing we did out there. A little bit of bar bashing. Some people passed. Yeah, there's this one time I let this guy pass. I didn't know there was like two of them. So one guy passes, and then I get back in the middle of the trail, and the guy just rubs up on my handlebars like, oh shit, there was another guy back there. Well, dude, I can't see if there's two of you guys back there.
Oh! Fuck, I didn't know there was fucking two of them behind me. That guy should have waited.
Yeah, maybe if I could hear him, you know, but maybe I didn't hear this guy, and yeah, he just came up on me and he rubbed up on me. Well, whatever. It was a lot of fun riding this bike. This bike's got a lot of power. I think the max speed we hit was like 41 miles per hour. I looked on the GPS and it said we had been moving for an hour and 4 minutes when we crossed the finish line. However, my time, it says 1 hour and 25 minutes. I don't see how that could be, man. That's almost like a full Harescramble. Well, that's like 1 1/4 Harescramble. No, yeah, 125. That's a full Harescramble. Yeah, 1 hour and 1.5 hours, right? You're just shy of that. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the times. That's kind of weird. Like my GPS said I was. Usually the GPS is pretty close, so I don't know. Whatever. I completed 3 laps. We completed 3 laps. All right, and it was good. I finally got to wear my Rain VMX jersey. All right, I'm wearing the pants also. These are pretty cool vintage motocross stuff. All right, and vintage motocross gear that Bobcat sent us for when they sent the shock for the Light Bee. And so I've been using they sent me a Sauron jersey also, and that's the one I've been wearing whenever I race a Sauron. So I decided to take these ones out. All right. And this one has little elbow pads here, which is great, man. I like having the elbow pads on the jersey as opposed to wearing elbow pads. All right, I stopped wearing elbow pads during races because they always come off and you have to fix them. Like no matter what, I can't find an elbow pad that will stay in place except for these ones right here. Right now, they're not the thickest, most well protected, but it's better than nothing. So let's say, all right, they even have knee pads. All right, the pants have knee pads on them. All right, it's pretty awesome stuff. All right, it might be a little warm in like warmer weather, but for today it was like perfect. All right, and it looks great. So check them out, Rain VMX. They sell the vintage motocross stuff. Like if you got like a Kawasaki or a Bull Taco or something, you can get like a whole jersey and pants setup for that. All right, and they do sell the Sauron jerseys. All right, and they sell the Bobcat rear shock. All right, for the Sauron, like the 10.5. All right, so check them out. I gotta give them a plug for that. Wearing their gear. Thanks, Mark. It worked great. It works great and it looks great. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of the after action review. After this, in the next clip, we'll take a look at the results on the computer. And then that'll be the end of the video. Okay. But yeah, it was fun racing Old Faithful again. All right, we got to clean them tomorrow, and then yeah, it's just gonna sit in my backyard for the rest of the year, pretty much. Maybe we will go take it out to Metcalf sometime. We can take both bikes out to Metcalf. That's fine. And yeah, man. So it's good stuff. It's been a while since I rode this bike. So what could I do to improve it, or what could you do? Okay, so yeah, what things could you do to improve? Let's finish it with that. Man, yeah, just ride the bike harder, Marla. I was just not riding the bike hard enough. Before the race, what I should have done is lifted the front up, all right, or pushed the forks down into the triple clamps. I should have done that. I forgot I had the bike set up for Super Moto, and yeah, I was just. Also, one thing I did notice is like whenever I would go over like the crest or something, it would just nosedive, just go straight down. Like it did that a lot, man. And it's just really hard when we're trying to get the front up off of stuff, and it doesn't want to do it. Yeah, so I think if you're gonna ride this in the dirt, or if you're gonna race it in the dirt, put the forks down in the clamps. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that long to do it. especially if you're going down, you just get a hammer and you just hit it, right, and it'll just move, right? So yeah, so that would have helped for this race to not make it like a supermoto is what I'll say. Okay, I didn't have any problems with the bike running or anything. It ran all the time, no problems. Yeah, believe me, I've had some problems during a race on this bike. So, but today it ran pretty much flawlessly. All right, and we raced against much more sophisticated bikes. All right, is what I'm saying. We kept up with them. All right, we kept up with them, or they passed us, or we passed them. You know, it was a lot of everything. It was a lot of fun. All right, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I came out there to have fun. All right, I don't want to do this if it wasn't fun. Okay. Yeah, you just gotta push. You just gotta push the bike harder, HadesOmega. I know this bike is pretty fast. All right. But I'm just not riding it that fast. I'm just kind of riding it conservatively, or I'm trying to just, you know, use the downshifting and stuff. So another thing we could do to improve the bike is, well, we got to figure out what we're going to do with this bike. So HadesOmega's plan was to electrify this bike, all right? Because I really like this bike. It's a great chassis for supermoto, all right? It is a little heavy and stuff, but yeah, it's really well planted, more planted than the Light Bee. And I think if I converted it to an electric bike, it would be awesome, all right? You'd have great power. I think the bike would be lighter, all right? That's one of the things about this bike. It's much heavier than that bike, okay? Now, if I can get this bike to be a little bit lighter, I got to ride a 150R with it was a QS138 motor, and that's the one with the gearbox already in it. And it was pretty freaking awesome. I was like, whoa, well, it would be awesome to try, you know, this bike with an electric powertrain, all right? So I'm kind of thinking about it. I was thinking about like just using the Suron battery. I'm not 100%. We'll see. There's kind of two routes I was thinking of going. Because I already have the 170 kit, but there's another kit. There's like a ultimate power kit for this bike, all right? From I think it's from Malaysia or something, or Thailand or something, all right? So man, it was freaking crazy. It's a 220 bore up kit, all right? It has a bigger bore, and you got to bore out the engine, and so you can put the new barrel in, and then it has a stroker crank on it. And it has a bigger head with bigger valves, and then it's got a special carburetor. It's got a bigger carburetor, right? So I'm running a KLX6 carb, but I'm not super. I mean, it's fast with that carb, but throttle just sucks on this. All right, maybe I should try to work on the throttle more so it's smoother, so it doesn't hurt my wrists as much. That's one of my big gripes about this bike. It hurts my wrists. So that's why I was thinking, like, hey, you know, if we made it an electric bike, you can use an electric throttle. Those are a lot smoother, man, than this wire one here, man. This is like a quick turn throttle. It opens like really, really fast, and it's hard turn, man. That's why I got this cramp buster on here, man. So yeah, so there was like the two routes. Should I build this into a 220? Could you imagine how much power this would have? So you would go from like a 70 to a 220. That's like a 50cc bump up in power, man. And then you're going from if you went from like a stock 140 to a 220, that's incredible, man. That's like that's like a lot, 110 cc's. This bike would be a freaking rocket, all right? It would be basically, yeah, it would be like a KLX 230 and like a smaller chassis, you know. So another thing is like about this bike is like the suspension is good. I put KX suspension, KX100 front and rear suspension, and it soaks up the stuff like a dream. It does pretty good. That's what I'm gonna say. But the wheels are small. And at the end of the day, it's a mini bike, and you're just gonna get beat up by like that washboard stuff, no matter what. I just thought about like, man, why don't you just buy like an enduro bike, Merlin, with big wheels and stuff, so you know it'll just go over that stuff like marshmallows, you know. Don't worry about getting yourself beat up with it all the time, right? At the end of the day, it's still a mini bike and it's still gonna beat you up, man. So yeah, there is that route to try and just get another bike. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put in the comments below what direction I should go. Money wise, the 220 kit, the ultimate 220 kit, is $1,200. But the thing is, I would have to pay someone to build the engine. Right? I couldn't do that. I can't bore out the case, and I can't. I don't want to split the case and change the crank out. You know, that's the extent of engine work. You know, that I can't do. Right. I changed this one out, but it was just simple. You just change the piston and the barrel, and that's it. You just plop it in there and put the cam in and everything. It was very simple to do this. The upgrades I did on this bike, compared to the ultimate kit that I'm talking about. Right, you have to do actual modifications to the engine. Right, you got to bore it out. You got to put a new crank in. You got to put a bigger valves in, and then you have to make sure the valves don't crash into the piston and all that. You know, it's a lot of work, and I would have to pay someone. So just on top of the $1,200, you got to pay an engine builder to build it. Like, I could probably take the engine out and take it to them, okay? But I would have to have somebody build that engine. So, but this thing would rip, all right. But on the other hand, this engine is getting a little old, all right. The transmission's probably all beat up. I do know that the shifter shaft is leaking a bit. You know, I think if we made it an electric bike, would make it a much better race bike. All right. The question is, like, how far could we go on one charge? Hopefully we can go about as far as the Light Bee. All right. But yeah, so I was looking that KO motor is going to make a motor for a DIY conversions. All right. And it has the KO motor with the gearbox already on it, just like the QS138. They're gonna have one. I was like, oh shit, maybe I won't want to do that. So put that in here. So I'm not really happy with the QS motor. You know, it's just, yeah. I feel like the KO motor might be the big way to go, but I haven't got it yet. Okay, guys. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of the two avenues I'm going towards. Buy some kind of electric kit for this, and then use a Sur-On battery inside it, or upgrade this up to a 220. All right, just make this the best like gas engine that you can do, and it'll have a new carburetor, new throttle, and everything. So maybe the throttle will be smoother. That's all I'm gonna say. So it would make it better for supermoto. It would make it better for dirt biking and stuff. So, but yeah, I have to say the bike had plenty of power. It had plenty of power out there, and I was pretty happy with the way it performed. But I was half the time, most of the time, I'll just say most of the time, HadesOmega was just afraid the bike was just going to get away from me all the time. You know, I had to be really careful. So at the beginning of the race, I think I had the crank buster turned up a little too much, and the bike would just take off by itself sometimes. Yeah, it was kind of scary, man. And yeah, the front would just kind of plow into stuff. And like I said, I could probably fix that by moving the forks down into the fork tubes. All right. But for supermoto, it works great. All right. Okay, well, I did kind of mess up my rear fender. Should I just leave it like that? I guess so. Well, you know what? I can use a plastic repair kit on that. We can try the plastic repair kit. All right, or I can just cut it. It's fine. This fender just like barely fit on here anyways. All right, this is like a legit supermoto fender, but it looks more like it's for this bike, is what I want to say. Okay, so in the next video clip, we'll take a look at the results more closely. All right, like I said, I came in 10th, but we'll see how we did compared to everybody else, what everybody else is riding, how we did overall, you know, how we did again if we were to race in different classes, like the women's class. Theoretics. Right, is what I want to say. Okay, but yeah, check out the race video. It was a whole lot of fun, and yeah, it was great to ride this thing again after so long, or race this after so long, and then compare it to this bike, right? So this bike definitely beats you up a lot less, and that's why I kind of think I want to do the electric kit on this. All right, because one, it'll be lighter, you know. It'll probably be just as fast as that 220 kit. That's my thought. All right, and then Yeah, because it'll be like 72 volts right from the get-go. Okay. And then and the suspension is better on this bike. This bike just, you know, it takes the bumps and stuff much better than the Light Bee, man. The Light Bee's just, it's too light. It's using that mountain bike stuff, you know. It's not the best stuff. All right. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the next clip. All right. All right, hey, HadesOmega here. So this is the results clip. All right, I promised a results clip after, and we're gonna go check it out. All right, so I've got the results on my computer. There were some results they posted right after the race, like on a little board, and then like, the times are way different than they were before. So I was wondering why my time was hour and 25 minutes versus what my GPS said, an hour and 4 minutes. All right, and so I guess they must have adjusted something and the times are like different. All right, but that doesn't change where my position is. All right, okay, let's go check it out. All right, so here are the results for the C-5 class. All right, you can see, let me zoom in a little bit there. All right, scores by class. All right, we were C-5, the novice group. That's 40 to 49-year-olds. All right, I'm a young 40-year-old. All right, guys. So I'm a young C5 racer. So you should be able to do good against these old guys, right, HadesOmega? Well, here we are. Wham! All right, we're pretty much smack dab in the middle almost. All right, we're 10th out of 16. All right, 2 people, I guess, signed up for the race and they didn't show up. So, or they moved them or something. So they didn't get any times or laps, so I don't think those people even raced. Okay. All right. So, but technically, yeah, there were 16 in our class. All right, and then we got 10th out of everybody else. There were about one on the course. Actually, on the course behind us was 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 riders behind us. Okay, but we were racing with like 124 other racers, something like that. So, okay. So the number 1 guy is this Jeff Schultz guy. Holy moly, this guy was smoking out there, man. He got a 1 hour and 12 minutes, all right? And he did 4 laps, all right? He didn't do 3 laps, he did 4 laps. So if you're really, really fast, you could do 4 laps, all right? Because the time limit is, what is it? 1 hour, right? So the race is 1 hour. So when you come in for your 3rd lap and it's less than an hour, you have to go around again. Okay. But you'll do another lap, and where everybody else won't do another lap that came in behind you, right? But so technically this guy, Neil Netzer, should have done 4 laps because he got 58 minutes, right? That's less than an hour. So he should have gone around one more time. All right. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but it doesn't really matter. These guys were behind him anyway, so yeah, that's what I want to say. This guy could have probably just stopped on the 3rd lap, and then there would have been nobody else that did 4 laps. Yeah, so there you go. There's an example. Like if this guy had done another lap and then this guy didn't do another lap, this guy would come in first because he did another lap. All right, so it depends on how many laps and your actual time. All right. But if you did more laps, that means you were faster, all right, guys? That's the way it works. Typically, Harescrambles are about an hour and a half long, all right? This was the novice class. Novice class for HHORA races are 1 hour long, okay, guys? And like I mentioned, it was the course was about 6 miles, and we were just shy of 18 miles, so it's like a little bit less than 6 miles. All right, so it's about six miles a lap is what they're saying, and that's about right. Okay, so we finished 10th, all right, with a time of 1 hour and 7 minutes, which is kind of strange because my GPS says, or my moving time on the GPS says 1 hour and 4 minutes, all right, but it's probably not that accurate. All right, this is probably more accurate. We rode the Kawasaki, all right, for real this time. KLX170, and we did 3 laps. All right, we were rider number 853, and our overall finish was 73. All right, and if you look here at the end, all right, it tells you there's a total of 124 riders. So we got We got 73 out of 124, all right? And if I was to put a percentile on it, HadesOmega always likes to do these. All right, that gives us a 59%, all right? Let's even round up. You're in the 60th percentile, HadesOmega, so you got like a D. You're like a D minus rider, so let's say, all right? No, wait a minute, you know what? HadesOmega got this wrong. You're supposed to subtract 1. All right, we're the 40th. Sorry, HadesOmega's math was wrong. All right, we're in the 40. We got 41% percentile. All right, so that means we're like we came in like below the middle of the pack. All right, a little bit. We're like just under the middle. All right, just under F grade. So we did pretty bad, guys. All right. But hey, you know, I had fun and we raced out there, so you know, I don't really care. Alright, so the guy ahead of us was 1 hour and 6 minutes. Alright, that was Oscar Gonzalez. We were kind of close to him, but there's no, I don't think we could. Yes, I do remember there were some people in front of us. There must have been like 3 or 4 bikes in front of us or something. Maybe we weren't racing him. I'm not 100% sure. All right, but yeah, we were a minute behind this guy. We wouldn't have caught him. All right, we wouldn't have caught him. He was on a Husky. All right, and then the other guy was a minute after, and then the other guy was 2 minutes after. There's no way you go to cut up these guys here. Okay, so maybe if you pushed a little harder, Merlin. Maybe if you didn't drop your bike on that one turn. I don't know. Okay, but yeah. So I think where we were was pretty fair. All right, now the guy behind us, Tim Olson, all right, on the Yamaha, he got a 1 hour 7 minutes, all right, and 41 seconds. So he was 41 seconds behind us. That's still a good amount of time. Like, he was probably still on the motocross course, like at the beginning of the motocross course when we finished. So I think that's a pretty good place to finish, guys. And then the other guy was 2 minutes behind, and then 1 minute behind that, and then 1 other minute behind that. All right, so I think we could do better, HadesOmega. So hopefully next year we'll get the Light Bee fixed, and then we'll see how good we can do on the Light Bee. All right. Yeah, I think last time we didn't race in this class. Oh yeah. Well, for the race earlier this year, we did race in this class. All right, but last year for this specific, the Hairball. All right, the Hairball's the second race of the year, guys. All right, we didn't even finish, actually, so all right, and we can't compare with last year's because the course is always different. All right, guys, all I remember is for the Wild Wabbit, we almost ran out of charge on the Light Bee. All right, we hit like 21 miles, dude. That was a long race. Okay, yeah, and then the guy in first, man, he just blew everybody away. All right, these top 3 guys, they deserved it. All right, and I believe everyone got a trophy up to like maybe 5th place or something. All right, so yeah, so you got to try harder, HadesOmega. So what were the bikes in front of us? Well, what were the bikes you were racing against? A bunch of Yamahas, a lot of Yamahas, man. There's no Kawasaki's. Well, I'm the only one representing the Team Green here, man. KTM's. The funny thing is, like, a lot of the KTM's are behind, right? Like, they either didn't show up because their bikes broke, right? Because they're KTM's. That's why I noticed KTM's are broken all the time, guys. They're fast, but they break all the time. All right, and then, yeah, but the second place was a KTM. The first place, I don't know what it was, all right? It says unknown, all right? And then the third place was a Beta, all right? So no Japanese bikes on the podium, all right? But there is a Yamaha right here, okay? And most of them were like YZs, all right? We got KTM, and we got 1 Gas and 1 Husqvarna that was in front of us, okay? So I think I did okay, and I had fun. All right, so 73 out of 124. Let's see what time. Oh, okay. So another thing HadesOmega likes to do is compare his times to other classes. All right. So what was our time? Wow, it's kind of crazy. It's 1 hour 7 minutes exactly. All right. So 1 hour 7 minutes. All right. Just remember that, HadesOmega. So 1 hour 7 minutes. All right, in the C-5 C1 class, let me pick the camera up here. This is as far as it'll scroll up. So in the C1 class, HadesOmega would have been, oh, that's weird. Why is it backwards? Yeah, that's weird. These, oh, these, okay, yeah, dude. So HadesOmega was looking at this like, what's weird? Our time is faster than all these. No, it's not. These guys did 4 laps, dude. The C1 class, the 12 to 15-year-old riders are hella fast, dude. Almost half the class did 4 laps. That's amazing. These kids, man, 12 to 15 years old. They're little rocket ships, man. I'll tell you that, man. All right, so yeah, literally all these guys beat us. All right, we would have placed 16th. All right, we would have bumped this Oscar Gonzalez kid off. All right, on his Honda. Okay, so yeah, dude, the C1 class is no joke. So that's the way it usually is. The kids in the front are really fast, and then the old guys all the way in the back are really fast. Okay, that's usually how it is. All right, guys. All right, C2 class. All right, C2, 16 to 22, okay, these are all 4 lappers, all right. Our time would have been enough for 14th place, even worse. Yeah, right. We would have bumped this Hayden Mitchell out, all right. Actually, we were really close to this Nick Bengard guy. This guy was literally right. This guy must have finished right in front of me. I remember there was a guy, I think he must have stalled his bike or something. He slowed down, and I kind of caught up to him a little bit, but not enough to pass him. And he finished right in front of me. Okay, so yeah, we would have finished like 14th. Not very good. Okay, C3, 23 to 29, all right. Adults, all right, we're in the adults now, all right. So these guys did 4 laps. Whew. We came in right ahead of this guy, this Eddie Martinez guy. All right. That would put us 14th place. We would have been 14th place in this one also. Okay. Okay, C4. This is the class that we raced in last year. All right. So we would have got. Only one guy did 4 laps. Wow. So you can tell this is where, you know, we're getting to the older guys, you know. We're 12th place, all right? We're behind this Casey Marsh guy, all right? 12th place. Yeah. 12th place. So, yeah, it's like, it seems like the more we go down the classes, we do better, all right? So HadesOmega, you got in an easier class this time. You got an easier class, man. I got 10th place in this class. So, yeah, you thought you did good, HadesOmega, but you're just, you know, everybody else just did way better, you know, is what I'm going to say. All right, so, yeah, and once again, in this class, we had the one that we raced in, we had one guy that did 4 laps. Okay, there's one. The guys on the top are very, very fast. All right, here's C6. All right, guys, the 50 to 59-year-olds. All right, we would have got. Ooh, we would have bumped this Todd Thomas off. All right, we would have been 8th place, 8th place in the C6. Man, hats off to these guys still racing at 50 plus years old. Man, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing when I'm 50 years old. Man, I'll be too old to race maybe. All right, so yeah, we still would have been past the middle of the pack. All right. All right. Oh, here's C7. Oh my God, the old, really, really old timers class, man. 60 years and up. All right, super seniors. All right. The first guy, we would have beat the first guy, guys. We would have beat the first guy 1 hour 14 minutes. Yeah, we would have been first place if he raced in the C7 class. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a while for you to get there, HadesOmega. Yeah, we would have been first place, man. There was only like 4 racers in that, and then I guess 3 of them didn't show up. Is what it looks like. So, yeah, we would have beat all these guys. These guys only did 2 laps. What happened to these guys, man? Did they just retire early? Did they just have a shorter race than everyone? I don't know, man. But the first guy did like 3 laps, all right, and he was like 7 minutes behind us on a Husky. Okay, oh, here's my favorite one, the women's. All right, I'm not gonna lie, there were some girls that passed me out there, man. Little girls passed me, dude. It's so frustrating. All right, so we would have got in C8, just women, whatever age, you know, but we would have got 5th place. 5th place. Would that get me on the women's podium? I don't know, man, but I don't think it would be fair, you know. All right. HadesOmega would have to change his gender to race in this class, right? Yeah, I wonder what the case is for these women, for some of these women, if that's the case. So yeah, 5th place. All right, we would have been like, yeah, we would have been legit 5th place if we raced with the women. All right, we would be 7 minutes faster than this person and 2 minutes slower than this Holly Rogers. All right. Yeah, man. I think I saw 2 girls in front of me. I remember 2 girls passed me. I thought they lapped me. I guess not. I guess it took a while for them to... Well, they were all the way in the back, guys, so that's why. But yeah, I remember I think these 2 girls passed me. This Holly Rogers and this Camille Moore, all right? I don't know about these girls, all right? These girls are freaking... They're rocket ships, man. They got like almost 1 hour exactly, so... Okay, and that was out of 124 riders. All right, there you go. So that's the results for the Hairball 2022. All right, how HadesOmega did. We did 73rd overall, 10th in the C-5 class. All right, and pretty much for the young guys, just destroyed everybody else. Once you get to like 20-year-olds and up, the competition starts to go down a little bit, all right? It just goes down and down and down between the age groups. It's funny. It's kind of interesting looking at the different classes and stuff, because they only do this one by age group, right? They don't do it by like class of bikes. That's the way you should do it, right? You should be racing against bikes similar class, all right? And so HadesOmega would be racing with the kids, all right? And that's bad because the kids are really fast, okay? So yeah, man, I'm telling you, dude. One time that's the one time HadesOmega got a 1st place trophy in this race, was when they had a mini bike class and I raced in it. And it was a mini bike class, and it had like an age thing also. So like it was 16 and up if you were racing with a mini bike, and I raced against this other girl that was like half my age or something, and I destroyed her. Okay, so. Yeah, so, but yeah, there's some fast girls out there. Don't be fooled, man. I remember them passing me too, so this is legit, man. Okay, so yeah, so HadesOmega got about a little bit less than half of the pack, all right, pretty much for all the races, all right. So you got to do better, HadesOmega. What could we have done to do better to get a little bit faster? Twist that throttle more. The bike is plenty fast. I'm not gonna lie. The bike is plenty fast. I'm not gonna lie. The suspension on the KX suspension on the KLX is good, but I think it's not good enough. All right. If and like, could you do anything to improve that? Probably not. Probably just get a different bike, HadesOmega. Get a different bike with bigger wheels. So the one thing that really slows me down are the whoops and stuff. And if you have bigger tires, you can just kind of breeze past that stuff more easily, all right? Yeah, just ride faster. I can tell, there's still room for improvement. I could push that bike harder, all right? But the question is, like, will I push it hard enough where, like, it just disappears from me and it goes off the side of a cliff? Yeah, that's what I was worried about most of the time, all right? Like, I hadn't been used to riding this bike, and it's got a lot of power. It's about as fast as the Light Bee, all right? The lap times with this bike when we race Super Moto are very similar to the Light Bee's lap time. So I would think the Light Bee probably gets similar times, all right? But the Light Bee is just so much lighter to race, you know. It's the KLX beats you up less, but the KLX is so much lighter, you know. So you got a lot less bike to move around. So it's kind of a tough call. They're good in some areas and better in others, is what I'm gonna say. So they kind of like balance each other out if you think about it. So it just makes me wonder, what if you put an electric motor in that KLX, man? Or get an Ultra B. Okay. Well, HadesOmega's thinking about, maybe I want to get a KDX. I think I want to maybe just get a KDX and try to race it for one season. See how we do with that. Maybe. We'll see. Okay. Anyway, so that's the results. Thanks for watching. That's the end of the after action review and the results.